Tonight, imagine your food is gone, not low. Gone. The river moved. The animals vanished. A child is coughing beside the fire. And the nearest grocery store is 30,000 years away. You have sharp stone. You have strong legs. You know the land around your camp. None of that guarantees tomorrow, because the deadliest ancient problem was not always hunger. It was being hungry alone. For most of human history, survival looked local. A small camp, a few shelters, a circle of familiar faces. That picture feels complete. It is not. Your ancestors survived inside something much larger. A web of people, some nearby, some days away, some barely known. That invisible web carried food. It carried tools. It carried warnings. It carried marriage partners. Most importantly, it carried knowledge. The surprising part is simple. Ancient humans did not survive because every camp was self-sufficient. They survived because no camp had to be. Self-sufficient sounds powerful. In a harsh landscape, it can be fatal. One group knows a spring. Another knows where stone can be found. Another remembers a pass through the mountains. Someone else has seen the herds move early. Each camp holds only part of the map. The network holds the rest. So how large was that network? You cannot interview people from the Ice Age. Their conversations left no fossils. Friendship does not preserve in soil, but living hunter-gatherer societies reveal useful patterns. Not perfect copies of the past. Clues. In 2011, anthropologist Kim Hill and his colleagues analyzed 32 foraging societies. Their sample included 5,067 people. The average experienced band contained 28.2 adults. A band means the people sharing daily camp life. Small enough to know every voice. Small enough to notice every absence. But most adults in those camps were not close genetic relatives. That matters. A chimpanzee community is heavily shaped by kinship and territory. A human camp can include siblings, in-laws, friends, visitors, and unrelated partners. Your social world does not stop at blood. It stretches through choice. Hill's team argued that this created unusually large interaction networks. Networks where information could move between unrelated adults. Networks where useful behavior could accumulate. Cumulative culture. A technical phrase for ideas that improve across generations. One person discovers something, another copies it, a third modifies it. The result becomes too complex for one mind to reinvent alone. Think about a fitted hide coat. Someone must understand animal skin. Someone must scrape it. Someone must soften it. Someone must shape the pieces. Someone must pierce clean holes. Someone must know which fibers hold. Someone must teach the sequence. Lose one step and the coat fails. Lose the network and the sequence can disappear. That is why population connection matters. Not just population size, connection. 1,000 isolated people are not one community. They are 1,000 locked rooms. But how do people connect beyond one camp? They move, they visit, they exchange, they marry across groups, they return with stories. They carry objects that remember the journey. In 2014, anthropologist Robert Walker and his colleagues studied interaction between Aceh and Hadza hunter-gatherers. They examined 201 pairs of adults across separate residential bands. Among the Hadza, roughly 950 people lived in 49 named bands during the study period. Yet social contact crossed those camp boundaries. The researchers described a social universe of roughly 1,000 people. A social universe means the people you might know, meet, visit, or hear about, not your daily camp, your wider human map. That difference changes survival. Imagine your local valley dries. Your camp may contain 30 adults, but your real safety net could include hundreds. A cousin's spouse knows another valley. A visitor remembers a distant waterhole. A trading partner has relatives near a lake. A storyteller knows which group welcomes guests. These are not decorative relationships. They are exits. Now place yourself in Eastern Africa. The ground is changing. Rain arrives late. Grass thins. Large animals alter their routes. Your camp can wait, or your camp can move. But movement without information is gambling. Which direction is safer? Who lives there? Will they share water? Will they recognize you? This is where tiny objects become powerful. A bead can be a social passport. It tells another person something before you speak. You know this style. You recognize this pattern. You may know the people who made it. Archaeologists Jennifer Miller and Yiming Wang tested that idea in 2022. They examined 1,516 ostrich eggshell beads. The beads came from 31 sites across eastern and southern Africa. Ostrich eggshell beads are exactly what they sound like, small discs cut and shaped from shell. But their size and design can reveal shared traditions. Between about 50,000 and 33,000 years ago, bead styles in eastern and southern Africa became strikingly similar, across more than 3,000 kilometers. That is roughly the distance from New York to Denver. No single traveler needed to walk the entire route. The connection could pass step by step, camp to camp, river to valley, family to visitor, gift to gift, a chain of human contact. Then the pattern broke. Around 33,000 years ago, the shared bead tradition disappeared. Regional styles separated. Miller and Wang linked that break with major climate changes. Drier conditions affected eastern Africa. Fluting in the Zambezi catchment may have disrupted movement between regions. The landscape did not merely separate bodies, it separated information. The beads recorded a network switching off. That is the first clue to the real ancient disaster. Not every catastrophe begins with death. Sometimes it begins with disconnection. A route closes. A meeting place disappears. A river becomes dangerous. A familiar group moves away. Then knowledge stops traveling. Marriage ties weaken. Gifts stop arriving. Warnings come too late. The same number of people still alive. But the system has become smaller, and smaller systems forget. Could ancient humans recognize that danger? At Olorgesailie in southern Kenya, the archaeology suggests deep connections existed far earlier. In 2018, archaeologist Alison Brooks and her colleagues reported Middle Stone Age sites dating from at least 295,000 to about 320,000 years ago. The sites contained smaller, more carefully prepared stone tools. They also contained red and black pigments, coloring materials that may have carried symbolic meaning. Then came the most revealing stone, obsidian, a dark volcanic glass. It breaks into extremely sharp edges, but much of the obsidian found at Olorgesailie came from sources up to about 95 kilometers away. That stone did not belong to the local ground. It arrived through movement or exchange. 95 kilometers may not impress you now. A car can erase it in an hour. On foot through unfamiliar terrain, it becomes social distance. You need roots. You need memory. You may need permission. You may need people. Brooks and her team argued that long-distance material transport appeared alongside technological and behavioral change. The new tools were not simply better rocks. They were part of a wider system. A system reaching beyond one local resource zone. And that system appeared during major environmental instability. The climate shifted. Habitats changed. Animal communities changed. Old solutions became unreliable. So humans did something counterintuitive. They did not retreat into smaller circles. They expanded their connections. That is the twist. When nature became unpredictable, survival depended less on independence. It depended more on access to other people. Your strongest ancestor may not have been the best hunter. It may have been the person welcomed at 5 fires. The person who remembered names. The person who carried news accurately. The person who gave food when giving felt expensive. The person whose generosity created a future doorway. This sounds soft. It was hard survival technology. A spear solves one kind of problem. A relationship solves hundreds. A spear can help bring down an animal. A relationship can tell you where animals still exist. A hide coat protects one body. A relationship can preserve the method for making it. A fire warms one night. A relationship can lead you to shelter after your firewood is gone. Tools matter, but tools cannot introduce you. Now imagine the ancient camp again. 30 adults, a fire. Children sleeping nearby. One hunter returns empty-handed. Another brings meat. Sharing looks generous. It is also risk management. Tomorrow their luck may reverse. Wild food is uneven. One day brings abundance. The next brings nothing. Stored food can rot. Animals can escape. Plants can fail in one patch and thrive in another. Sharing spreads that uncertainty across multiple households. A network turns many unpredictable outcomes into one more stable system. Not perfectly stable, more stable. In 2012, Corin Apicella and her colleagues mapped social networks among the Hadza of Tanzania. They surveyed 205 adults in 17 camps. Participants identified people they wanted as campmates. They also named people they would give gifts to. The resulting networks showed familiar patterns. Friendships were reciprocal. Friends of friends often knew each other. Geographic distance weakened ties. And cooperative people tended to connect with other cooperative people. That last pattern is called homophily, a fancy word for similar people clustering together. The study did not prove Ice Age friendships worked identically. No modern society is a frozen fossil, but it revealed something important. Cooperation can organize a network. People do not merely share because a network exists. Their choices help build the network itself. Every gift can become a thread. Every visit can strengthen one. Every betrayal can cut one. Your reputation travels ahead of you. That can sound uncomfortable. It was also protective. A person known for fairness had options. A person known for helping could receive help elsewhere. Social memory turned behavior into future access. So what happened when a camp faced disaster? Picture 3 seasons without reliable rain. The nearby tubers shrink. Small game becomes scarce. A child needs more food. An elder cannot travel fast. The camp could split. Some people might join relatives elsewhere. Others might follow a remembered route. A visiting family might carry news of water. A marriage tie might open another camp. No leader needs a master plan. The network distributes the response. People move along existing relationships. That is resilience. Another technical word. It means surviving change without the whole system collapsing. Ancient resilience was not a wall. It was a web. Walls resist pressure in one place. Webs redirect it. One route fails. Another remains. One camp loses food. Another shares. One craftsperson dies. The skill survives in people they taught. One valley empties. Its stories travel with the people leaving. This also explains why social gatherings mattered. People did not only meet to eat. They compared information. They arranged partnerships. They watched unfamiliar techniques. They heard about births and deaths. They learned who had moved. They renewed trust. A gathering compressed hundreds of separate updates into one place. The ancient version of a network refresh. Then everyone carried pieces outward. The objects moved too. Shell beads, pigments, stone, tools, decorations. Each item could carry practical value, but also social meaning. Where did this come from? Who gave it to you? Who taught that shape? Which route is open? The object was never only an object. It was evidence of connection. This is why loneliness feels so physical today. Your brain did not evolve to treat social isolation as a minor inconvenience. For your ancestors, isolation could remove food, information, protection, and escape routes at once. The alarm had to hurt. A lonely brain is not being dramatic. It is reading an ancient emergency signal. Something is wrong with the network. Modern life can hide that signal. You can live beside thousands of people. You can scroll through hundreds of names. You can still have no one to call at midnight. Proximity is not connection. Visibility is not trust. A contact list is not a safety net. Your ancestors' networks demanded movement, time, memory, gifts, obligation, repair. They were costly. That cost made them real. The ancient lesson is not that every person lived in harmony. They did not. Groups argued. Relationships failed. People competed. Networks carried disease and conflict too. But isolation was rarely the stronger strategy. The people who endured unstable worlds often had somewhere else to turn, someone else to ask. Another fire that knew their face. Tonight, imagine your food is gone. Your tools still matter. Your strength still matters. But the first thing that may save you is not in your hands. It is the path between your fire and someone else's.